man, it's just some anime that could just go without being made or being thought of. Like it's some animes, it's just such gutter trash, even if the animation is decent. And I saw a series today that was just such fucking garbage. I'm mad that it's actually gonna be a second episode. Oh man, that fucking Ice Blade Sorcerer shit, that shit fucking sucks.
I'm glad I stayed away from that.
Man,
I watched the other Ice Guy anime.
I was like, damn, I should have watched this. I got 2 minutes in the Ice Blade Sorcerer. I was like, cut this shit off. That shit got so much, it's so bad, like generic fantasy. Like I can't believe Isekai has gotten to the point where it used to be Isekai that was bad because it was just so generic. Now fantasy, like, because there's no Isekai element to Ice Blade Sorcerer.
I agree. That's actually one thing that I was going to bring up is that it seems like fantasy isn't Isekai like popular level. Well, I mean, kind of, sort of, but we've gotten a lot of fantasy anime like within these past like few years.
Some of them a lot of them are bad, and this one's bad.
Yeah,
like I can't fucking do it no more, y'all. Like these paper thin ass characters who got their personality from another anime. They got their personality from another anime. Like these
got their haircut from another anime.
Got their haircut from another anime. These badass protagonists who look exactly like the last stock light novel protagonist. And I mean, I've seen some of these shits before. Like I've even liked some of them. The Eighth Son, Wise Man's Grandchild. I think both of those had some elements to them to help them stand out. This shit just a worse version of the irregular at Magic High School, and that shit already fucking sucked ass. And like maybe they turn it around, maybe there's some twist and maybe look at the series in a completely different light. But somebody else gonna have to tell me because I can't watch no more of that bullshit. That shit was ass. All right, I had to get that off my chest. Like I had to go first on that one. I was like, God damn, I hate this show. Rakeem, what was the biggest disappointment for you?
Sage, we've been friends too long. Because I'm about to say the exact same thing you said. Ice Blade Sorcerer. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't hate it as much as you did, and I thought you might actually like the protagonist because he actually.
Yeah, I mean, like I was like, you told me that, and I was like, okay, well, let's see what he's talking about. And all right, he's kind of low key about it. He don't just like fumble over himself whenever he meets a girl and stuff like that. And that part was cool, but like nothing. And then, you know what? His roommate was cool. His roommate was like. You swole, I'm swole. We gonna be swole friends.
You live, man. We friends forever.
Yeah, that part was cool, but everything else, I was like, no, I'm straight. But go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
I gotta agree. When I think of a first episode, I always bring this up. The best first episode I ever saw was Fire Force because it just gave you just like so much incentive to watch more of it. This did not give you that. Like it gave you a little bit of like, oh, there's something going on with his backstory. Somebody important to him might have died. He has some connections with people in the academy, and that's how he ended up there. But when I was watching this, every character he interacted with, I was thinking of mangas that had the exact same character, like the blue hairs dude from a manga I read, the Lazy Lord Master Sword, exact same character. Oh, you ain't highborn, or you ain't a great swordman. I'm the dude, and I'm gonna run this. And the only difference is that character was written better than this character. This character sucked.
He didn't have a personality. He just walked around calling the dude ordinary.
Let me ask this: is there any kind of Demon King involved in this?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Not yet.
Okay, I would just ask because that seems like that's another thing too. Is that like Demon Kings have been involved in so many fantasy anime lately?
A little bit, yeah. I guess it's kind of a trope now because it's like basically involved.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like it's become a trope, but it's kind of like
balls and rules.
Shoot, I feel like we were just talking about it where it's well, kind of like with lollies, how it's like it's a trope, but it's like becomes such a trope that it's like it's almost expected for something like that to be in there now.
Yeah.
It's
just like the characters he meets. So how I kind of interpreted it was that his character in this specific, he going to a magic academy. So context, he goes to magic school. He has some background we don't know about. His first day, he in this universe, people who learn magic, learn it are part of these like specific noble houses or magician sorcery backgrounds, and it's passed down. He's not that, and so people kind of look at him once they find out he doesn't have that background. He's kind of scoffed at by other classmates and stuff like that. But like it felt like watching it he's like the normal guy, and everybody else is a caricature. Everybody else
Kinda.
kind of bounces off him a little bit. It's not exactly like that, but it's kind of like that. The only cool thing about this episode I did like was how magic worked. There was like a coding system. They actually coded magic like a computer and decoded it in their minds. And like that was cool. How they actually broke down the magic system. That was kind of cool. But other than that, it did leave a lot to be desired. I feel like there's got to be some twist here. That's the real thing, because
They already gave you the twist. Like,
yeah,
in the story, they talk about like how the strongest spellcasters. They talk about the 7 strongest spellcasters,
and he's one of them.
And yeah, they list off like they like basically say that we know about 3 of them, and in 4 of them they basically don't exist. And then like one of the 3 that they do know about vanished without a trace. Guess which one the main character is?
Of course.
He's the one that vanished without a trace. You know, they probably could have made this show more interesting if he was like openly comedic about it. Like if he was cold, but he was comedic about it, and he just was like, I just want to have like a normal college or high school experience. I just want to have a normal, and then like
so,
and shit just go left
Eminence
on him.
and Shadow, in a sense.
No, because like with Eminence and Shadow, he wants to be like the dude running things behind the scenes.
Oh,
and
I thought
want
he was trying to
nobody
be
know.
low key in Eminence and Shadow. Never mind.
No, you talking about like
overwrite
you talking about like
imagination.
Bash the Stampede.
Yeah, where he just want to like, if he was going to the school knowing he was cold, but he was like, I just want to be a normal dude, and then like everybody just kept asking him to do shit. Like all the people that knew who he was, like behind the scenes, just kept asking, like, bro, I just want to be normal. Like, nah, ain't no normalcy for you, buddy. You got all these powers. Go do this. Go do some shit for us. That could have been entertaining, but instead he just like going to school and like, you know, he's really friendly to people, but everybody's just a dick to him. And I'm like, I've seen this before. And like so much of that shit. And like even the thing I said a second ago, that pitch, I've seen that before, but it's charming in a way that like I don't get easily tired of it. But like this stuff that me and Keem talking about, I was like, all right, man, you got this from another show that got it from another show.
Yeah, that's been a setup for a lot of these like fantasy / isekai anime as of late. It's like they put them in a school and they're like underestimated, but secretly they were like a sorcerer from 5,000 years ago at the top of their class and everything. It's been done a lot now.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is that the only thing keep me watching this anime another episode or two. I actually just want to see him use his sorcery. He didn't even use his sorcery in the first episode. So how the Ice Blade sorcery actually works, how he fights. I want to see how that works. That's it. So it's not much of a hook keeping me there. So yeah, that was my biggest disappointment because I was actually looking very forward to that specific anime.